what we're going to do is we're going to form up kind of like a concrete loading dock type situation. There's a reason why I've done everything I've done, so I'll explain what we're about to do here. I'm just using the plywood as a base. I'm going to form this up. We're going to use a little bit of Hydrocal, and we're going to mix it with some concrete stuff. Never done it before. This is a first. This is an article in Model Railroader from 2013 that shows you how to do this. So what we're going to do is I've got basically 8-inch forms we're going to make on the length. Then we're going to square them up, and then we got to make some more and put some gussets in there and kind of glue this thing together and see how it does. There's a reason why I'm putting screws in here. If I just poured the concrete on top of the plywood, it's got nothing to bond or hold to. By putting the screws in here, I didn't want to put too long. I'm going to try to make it about a 1/2 inch is what my form's going to be. This gives it something to bite to hold on to on your layout if you're pouring this. But one of the reasons I wanted to try this, and I'll explain to you why, is if we just made this out of styrene, we probably won't get the effect we might be looking for. By mixing with the color of concrete, or real concrete, now we could put dyes and Hydrocal and all that, but we're going to do a 50-50 mix and then get a little bit of water and get it into a portable type of, kind of like a pancake batter is what I'm looking for. And we're going to mix it. We're going to do 50% this, 50% that, and try to get a consist that looks pretty good in here to mix it. We're going to mix it inside this bowl, put the water in there, and then we'll get it to a consist we can mix it. But we got to make the forms real quick, and so we're going to do that, get it on here, try to glue these together. We're going to use push pins to kind of hold and brace some stuff. But that's what the game plan is, just so you kind of know what I'm trying to do here. So if I can do it or somebody else wants to do it, y'all are welcome to jump right in. I'm gonna cut some 1/2-inch strips. And,
that is styrene, yes.
That is styrene. This is styrene.
Now what is that, 30 thousandths?
I think this is 40.
40?
Yeah.
Is it any advantage to 40, 30, or 20, or just because
No,
it's easier to
I'm
cut
just
with a straight edge?
It's easier to cut with straight edge, but I can't get enough. I'm not getting enough leverage. It's messed up. I got to get down.
You need a ruler.
Yeah, I need a ruler, and I didn't pull it out. I'm just trying to do this kind of quick.
That's kind of wide. Right?
Actually, let's do this. I got a pair of scissors. Where'd they go? Right there. I can cut the thing quickly with scissors.
Oh, no, when this fails.
Cut it quicker and straighter. And
Faster. Look at that, man.
That's not cardstock.
No, that's
this is styrene.
Styrene. Favorite mediums, I was almost styrene.
So these are just 1/2-inch. I got this from Steve.
There's a place that you can get this in Marietta that you can get a whole 4x8 sheet for about 18 bucks.
See that pack behind Steve Funston? Look right behind you. There's a pack right there behind Steve Funston.
A what pack?
There's a whole pack of that stuff. I bought that. What was that, Steve? About $15?
That evergreen, thick evergreen stuff.
JMD 24/12.030.
That's
the company I work for.
I was going to say, I thought it looked like 30 bucks.
Show it to us, Steve.
Good eye, Howard, good eye. No, when Rob and I were doing my layout, his layout, we went over to this place and we just got sheets of 4x8. I got 40 thousandths, 30 thousandths, and 20 thousandths. And all we did is just roll it up in a roll, stuff it in the car. I think the most expensive one was like $23 for a 4x8 sheet of styrene. Now it's for the 40 thousandths, I think.
So I'm going to draw this out real quick.
Still got quite a bit of that.
Let me,
Of course, Steve uses mostly wood, so he don't care about that.
I use styrene on
On occasion, he uses styrene.
Love the wood.
That Model Railroad Hobbies, the one that's
Online, yeah.
had an article on this, and they used a board and batten,
Better than
styrene, and you cut it like, so the battens are running like this.
Oh,
when
yeah.
you get done, it comes up with a really neat looking.
Wood grain effect.
No, not a wood grain, it's, because it's a board and batten, you got, the battens, and then a little bit, it looks like they got bracing.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
They're really neat looking.
I I remember seeing that.
All right, so here's our, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna form up right here. All right, we're gonna build a form setup. I gotta get the dimension on the smaller side.
What they did on here is they glued like a piece that I think they glued like a 1/4 inch maybe.
About 2 1/4.
Brace it.
We need a couple more 8 inches because I gotta have an 8 inch this way, 8 inch this way, an 8 inch flat, 8 inch flat. Weld that together and then put the small pieces to brace it up. And then we're gonna use the push pins to hold the bracing in place as well. So it's gonna be kind of a dual purpose. And then we gotta make the little pieces here. So I've got three 8 inchers. One I corrupted.
Not corrupted?
Let's see. That probably will work. We'll see if we can make it. I'll use it on the flat, not the top. So that'll give us our form.
So you need to cut some more out of that?
Yeah, I need to cut out some 2 1/4 inch wide. Need 4 of those. Somebody want to measure those and do them? 2 1/4 wide by 1/2 inch. There you
Don't scratch it.
Cut it on top.
go. You got to cut it. I'll cut it over here.
2 1/4 by 1/4 was it?
Yeah, 2 1/4 by 1/2 inch.
How many pieces do you need?
4 of them. Yeah, I'm going to reinforce it. I'll show you. Let's see if I can get this in here.
We should take it down to this end. Take it down that 1/2 inch.
Just trying to get some stuff. I'll pull the push pins out once I glue this thing.
Did you try the alcohol? Like,
Already got this. These.
Well,
He
he
said-
only
he said
works
just
about
He said
why, because it all that is the informs for that.
Do on this end?
Yeah. Probably they just take a 1/2 inch piece, 1/2 inch wide, you just cut that thing and then probably says where they're made too. That's what you're.
All right, then we're going to need some other strips.
you did the same thing.
We're going to need some other strips because we're going to have to do a. We're going to have to make some little 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch cuts. Those are going to be the vertical braces to hold the forms in square.
Oh, wait a minute. I'm doing it right is what I ain't doing.
I noticed that.
Right.
Okay, I do need a third. I need somebody to hold this in place while I try to glue it.
One in, one.
You got to come from that side.
I can do that too. What do you want done now? I'm in your light too.
That's all right. I got it.
I'm
trying to weld
measuring.
this.
What's it look like I'm doing?
Trying to figure out which one.
Trying to weld that, but I got to hold it.
Where do you want me to hold?
See if you can keep pressure like my index finger right there. Keep pressure on it so I can start getting more weld on it.
Got it? Okay, there's the 2 1/4 piece.
Which way?
Huh?
That's pulling it.
Which way? It's 1/2 inch wide.
Keep it flush.
1/2 inch wide.
That's welding. I may need to try this one.
Do I know? Do I know?
Which one do y'all guys usually use? Y'all use plastic weld or welding? I don't know which
I
one.
use MEK.
Well, I don't have MEK. I got plastic weld.
Welding.
Welding. That's what I'm using. It ain't doing so red hot on plastic.
Welding sister Geraldine.
I was trying to do this with y'all. I didn't want to do everything ahead of time. So.
Right. You do it like they do on TV. Build everything except one piece and build the one piece.
I need that vertical brace. That's what I need. I need to get it squared up.
The Dremel blades are too big.
Let me know when you need a hand or a
Okay,
finger.
yeah.
Ultimate rock. I know
You
one
ready to start doing that side too? Oh, no, you gotta get it pinned
I
in.
gotta go through the work as hard to make it fit everything.
So the teeth are facing the wrong way.
All done and all soldered and welding finished.
Imagine that board makes it a little harder to use the push pin.
Well, but if this is with your surface on your project of your layout,
It looks wicked aggressive.
this is where you would be pouring your surface right to it. This would make great for loading docks on industrial buildings that you got to pour in place. It's a good little experiment. I don't know if it's going to work, so that's
Right.
kind of where we're at right now.
I know as much as everyone else. But he's using plasticine,
Those white pieces he's got.
which is what the porters
cut them
made
into
out of.
little
It.
strips
Let's
about
get
that
this guy
long.
with diamond.
No, I'm trying to cut these down. I have inch.
Yeah, but you don't need it.
Concrete. Big
He's
freeze.
gonna use that for the
Yep.
Well, but he needs 4 half
Oh, the
inch,
patch, I've got this at the house.
and I've only got
It's a
two
50-50
half
mixture.
Okay.
Well, I
This
got two
board's
of-
making
I
it
got
really
two
hard,
wide,
guys. I don't
two
know
of
if
them
I'm-
too short.
Oh, okay.
so I'm gonna
there's
take,
scrap ones.
It just doesn't
so I'm
want to
gonna
let you
take
put
the
the
two
pins in.
wide, and cut it down.
I hate when that happens.
Started.
These are half-inch, we cut them in half-inch squares in minute.
I don't want to get your hand, man. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Is it
Stick
welding?
it to your ear, you know.
See, it's lifting up. That's what I was afraid. It's coming up.
Is it?
All right, smarty.
These are the half-inch, and he needs a bunch of
All
those.
right, let's see what we get here. Yeah, I'll be honest with you guys. I don't think they did a real good job on the article. Now that I'm trying to do this, there's a lot of steps they missed. Well, this is good. This
That's typical.
well, and this is good. They didn't take enough photos. They didn't do. This is good. This is how you find out what works, what doesn't work.
The plus truck.
Yeah, it's Plastron. Yeah,
They're both plus truck, but it's,
I think that's working right there.
Well, you'd have had my MBK, you'd have been done already.
Well, I thought that's what this stuff was, man.
Faster than freestyle shit.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Okay, it's okay.
I think that stuff I use is called.
No, I don't like super glue, period. I like it all. It's okay for building some things.
I don't know, it works real good on your fingers.
Yeah, that's what we want.
Actually, for cuts, it's
works
beautiful.
great on
It's
cuts.
perfect
There you
for
go.
cut.
Oh yeah.
I have more of those little one-shot bottles. I keep them in my chef bag just in case.
It either does
Well,
not.
all the stuff I've tried to glue with super glue, the only thing it ever worked on was my fingers.
Yeah.
Now, have you got a
All
miter
that stuff's
cut
supposed
there
to
on
glue
those
together,
boxes?
be
No,
strong.
I've got a.
Howard,
That's why I needed the thumb, the
what kind do
thumb,
you
the
like, Howard?
push pins to hold it vertical. I can't get the.
What?
Which kind do you recommend?
What?
Which glue?
Well,
called-
it's not a glue, really.
It's a chemical.
Methylethyl ketone. You can't get it in a store.
Don't touch it. Don't touch it. Don't touch it.
You buy it at Home Depot.
It's just welding right
No,
now.
you don't buy this shit from Home Depot and Court. You gotta get it from like Sherwin-Williams or a paint store.
This is the stuff they got at
Ace Hardware.
That's
All right, let go of it.
not pure MEK.
It's not strong enough in Home Depot? Okay.
And it doesn't work right. I can tell you, I
That's
can
why-
tell you
that's
why.
why I
You
gave
take
up-
one
up to
whiff of it to
chemical
tell you that it
engineering.
ain't the same shit.
I didn't want to live in a hood.
I mean, it'll get you high if you go inside on them.
It'd probably be easier too if you had a thicker styrene, to have something with more substance to it.
Push pins ain't doing it the darn, guys. Sorry. Plan B.
Here's some more of those 2-inch pieces. We've got
I'm not getting any.
2x2s.
I'm not getting any forgiveness here.
Okay. Usually in a case where I'm doing styrene like that and you got 4 walls, say if it's a structure, I grab rubber bands. Rubber bands are a great clamp because they apply equal pressure on all 4 sides.
Makes sense.
I'm just
But
trying
that's
to get.
just me now.
It's fine. We're getting it in. It just takes a little time. See what's going to happen.
Yeah, any of these will contain a certain amount of MEK, a very small amount. And what happens is you end up waiting forever for that stuff to dry. With MEK, you put it together and you wait 60 seconds later, it's done. That's why I like working with MEK, because you're doing something with
Well, that's what they advertise this stuff's supposed to do now. It
Yeah.
says 15 to 20 seconds it's
Yeah,
supposed to work.
no. So this takes, yeah, well, it's like water. You know, I'll use like a little paintbrush. You know, the bottles have little applicators in them, and that little applicator works pretty good.
I would imagine where you buy your plastic, they probably sell you a quart, bottle of glue for that stuff. That'd work a heck of a lot better than anything you buy.
It's actually coming together, bkind of not. It's actually.
Well, MEK is.
Once I got those braces
works
on
very
it.
fast. It kind of stinks to high heaven, so you gotta use it in a well-ventilated area. but
That's
I
one
mean,
reason I
it's
left the door open here tonight.
it's fine.
Now, what are the screws in the wood for?
The screws in the wood actually bond the material that's going to be poured in here.
Yeah.
It bonds it to the object that's holding it from the bottom side.
It's like a peg.
So it's an anchor.
Yeah,
It's an anchor. So that's what it's going to do.
One of those things called, I put it in Steel in there.
You got J-bolts and things like that.
The
that go
wood
in.
things that catch your
Always
feet
do
on
it.
the
Yeah, you do it with like the ram set if the concrete's already done.
rebar is the term I was thinking of, yeah.
So then what I'm gonna do is try to take this.
See, I'll take this stuff and I'll run this through my table saw. I got that little one.
I'm just gonna use this for some vertical
Oh, it
bracing.
works good. Works really good.
Howard,
No.
does yours have a depth on it? You know, as in lower the blade,
Yeah, oh
raise
yeah,
the
oh
blade?
yeah. Yeah.
That's
does.
the kind I
It's
want.
a
Is it a
Jar,
Prox?
Jarmac, it comes from micro mark.
Okay. Made by Proxon or whatever?
I think so. But I mean, it's got, you can tilt the blade,
About
you know.
$300-400 probably.
Yeah,
base.
yeah.
Okay. I got the
And-
$150 one and I don't.
Oh, that's
like
a
it.
small one.
Yeah.
The little small one.
Yeah. and
Yeah.
It doesn't have a tilt.
Blow
Now,
through stuff.
would it be as easy to use like mat board or something like that, and then use Elmer's glue and do it ahead of time and just glue your form together?
You know,
see
very,
this
very
how-
possible. Like I said, this kind of experiment for me, it was a project. I was
Right.
really curious to seeing, Model Railroad publish this stuff and make it look good, and which is good because we're a group of modelers. So we kind of put it to the test to see, how well this stuff really works. It's actually going pretty fast. I mean, I'm kind of in a hurry because all are watching me, but
What do we got better to do here? Come on,
But
this
take
is
your time.
cool. The fun part's going to be when we get into the concrete and start slapping stuff around.
It is very industrial.
Okay, so I officially going to tell you, push pins really didn't do me any justice other than they held the very first corner. So if you want to do this, I would either say you pre-drill with mini vise to try to get something in there to hold the form. But I don't think this form it doesn't feel like it's about to shift anywhere. So
Now, maybe part of the reason was because that's in plywood instead.
well, they showed their project in plywood, so
Did they?
yes, they did. So this I'm
Okay.
trying to duplicate.
I would have used
Per
like
the
Home
project.
Sewed or something like that.
Yeah, if you're right. If I don't, but that kind of defies the purpose because you're usually on top of your deck. You're on top of the deck that you built, which is probably going to be plywood,
Right.
or it'll be styrofoam, one or the other. But you're not going to be able to put the screws in if it's styrofoam. You'd have to put like toothpicks in or something like that.
Yeah.
So typically, yeah, you're going to be going into plywood. That's what you're going to be working with. So yes, so we now have a form. So one of the things we're going to do is I found this good old paint stirrer. We're going to have to mix up a material, and then we're going to use it. We can also take this. It's called a screed, and you're going to screed. Now, see how we got a little bit of offness. Our braces are a little higher than the top of our form, but we'll work it through there.
Now is
You want the brace trimmer?
is the
The official version.
So what we're going to do, the article called for. Now I'll tell you this: they called for DAP concrete
Repair.
concrete patch.
it comes in a bottle.
Well, no, it was in a little plastic tub.
Oh
Well,
my God.
Home Depot did not have the little quart tub of patch or DAP. DAP is a brand name. They
Yeah.
used to carry DAP. I didn't see DAP. So I'm gonna go outside and I'm gonna put my gloves on. This is concrete. There's some chemicals in concrete. I highly recommend using some kind of gloves.
Lime.
The stuff that can irritate your skin. I don't want the dust either, so I'll scoop this. I will tell you this whole tub, I've actually used something like this before. I had to pour some concrete in my house in Mobile, so I've used a tub of this stuff before. It works pretty good. It's a thin batch. I hope it's the same stuff. It looks like it is. They do say it has some kind of vinyl in it, so I don't know if that's going to mess us up or not. But the article called for a 50-50 mix of this to the Hydrocal. This is lightweight Hydrocal. So between the two, we should get a pretty good bond. We're going to mix it together so we don't get a clump before we put water in it. We got to get the two powders to mix up.
Are they both powders?
They should be both powders. So
Oh, okay.
That's my goal.
I was just wondering, is that a paste? If we're doing a paste.
Well, there
powder,
was
how
a
do you make it
paste.
happen?
There was actually one called a concrete patch compound. That was a pasty type material, and I really didn't feel like that's what the article was calling for. It was calling for a dry mix with a dry mix, and you mix them together, and you should get a solution.
Yeah, like
And
mix
then
it
you add the
pancake
water.
batter, right?
Yeah, so we should be able to do that. Even though Hydrocal, you can pour straight Hydrocal and you probably would get the same thing, but you're going to get more of a whitish. It's going to look like a plaster. And so our goal is we want a concrete type of look. So you know, I probably should have put a few more screws. I'm not worried about it. It's just demonstration purposes. But this gives you an idea. If you were building a truck ramp, a big loading dock, Steve and I were talking about it earlier today. You know, if you had an industrial building and you want to put this right in front of it, next to your track line, this would be where you would get it, and your box cars should be able to come up to about that height right there is what you're looking at. Half inch is just about the right height to the bottom of the box car door. So maybe just a little bit more. I'm trying to remember the actual number.
I mean,
Depends if you have balance. Depends if you have.
got ramps to get in and out of the box cars.
Right, have a road bed or you don't have to.
Right, right.
So if you're going straight down to the bottom or whatever. So let's do this. I'm going to take this out here on the patio. We're going to mix it up. Let me throw some gloves on here. As you see,
things are.
all right, I'm messing with the concrete patch. As you see right now, you got a knife on you? If you would open that, my rubber gloves don't be too well in my pocket. Thank you, sir. And I did, thank you. I did, just so y'all know, I did change shirts before I did this.
So we can see where you got the powder on you.
So I didn't want to mess up a nice shirt.
I thought that was a nice shirt.
Oh man, sorry.
You should have had the gloves on.
Well, we need to cut the rest of that plastic one.
Okay. All right, I'm trying to go to
Put it
that.
inside the container.
Watch your glasses. I don't want to crack it all over.
No, these are this is the top of the lid.
Oh, okay.
It's like a pickle
All right.
bucket.
So here's where I'm doing. I'm getting the line using the cup as a measuring. I'm gonna put just a little bit more in here. It is very, very dusty. Okay, and then we're gonna take another cup and do the same with the Hydrocal because they're 50-50. Hydrocal is very sensitive to moisture, so you don't want to leave it around a high humidity area or it will harden in the box.
So what do you, I guess you want to.
So you want to make sure you don't leave it outside. You leave it in a good air conditioner or heated area. Okay, I think that's got it. Let's see. Let's put just a little bit more. There we go.
Hello, come in. Who is it?
Yeah. They came in quiet, but I can guarantee it. He has a real hot time. We'll wait on the guys. We're going to take. We got 50%, so we equally filled each cup with the powder, with the concrete mix. This is a lot heavier as far as a consist, but I'm following the instructions. I'm gonna mix it in here. It is dusty, so I'm actually very glad I did this outside. My wife would have killed me.
Scatter it everywhere.
Probably gonna ask me, what is all over my deck? Okay, so I feel like I got a pretty equal consistency. It doesn't feel too clumpy. Okay, so I got a good bit of material. I may have poured too much. That's what I'm kind of wondering now. I may have made it too big a batch.
We sweep off the top. You want
We will. I don't want to mix it with the dirt.
to,
So.
okay.
So I'm gonna go ahead and start pouring the water. I just mixed the two chemicals 50-50. Not a big deal because I haven't put moisture in it yet. Okay. What's going to happen as soon as you add water to Hydrocal? Hydrocal is a chemical process, so it heats up and the clock starts. Okay.
Big time.
You have certain X minutes to work with Hydrocal because I mixed it with the concrete. I really don't know how long I had to mix with concrete, but I don't really care because I still have Hydrocal in there. I have about 6 to 7 minutes to work with Hydrocal. So you don't want to mix a huge batch, okay? That's what I'm really trying to tell you right now. So what we're going to do, I'm going to pour about half this cup in.
I'd get out Janet's mix master. You know, it's got the.
Yeah, she's not here.
Got a little blender.
A blender.
Get her food processor going.
Oh Lord, the KitchenAid going.
Okay, I'm trying to get it. I don't want any lumps, okay? No lumps, no lumps. Lumps are bad.
Making pancake batter, remember?
Making a pancake. I actually probably put a little too much water in here.
Well, that's even better because that'll slow it down a little bit.
No,
You
let me get it.
more
Let me
time
get
to
it
work.
mixing.
Art works better.
Do me a favor. Will you bring that board out here? We're gonna pour it out here, guys. Because it starts to leak everywhere.
Oh yeah.
Good
Yeah,
idea.
you don't want to get that on Janet's table, do you?
Good idea.
That's why I had at the edge. Figure if it's going to pour, it'll pour.
Now the article said to please grab your wife's bowl. I didn't do that.
Oh,
But
that
it
was
did say-
wrong. That was wrong right away.
It said to grab a bowl, so I did not grab my wife's bowls or do anything stupid like that. Now it's,
Very watery.
You can add a little bit more of
Yeah.
something, right?
let's do a little more Hydrocal. I feel safer. Just a little bit more. I'll tell you when. Keep adding, keep adding, keep adding. Good. Okay.
Down the side for 10 seconds.
I know what the Hydrocal will do. I don't know what the concrete's going to do. But if y'all look,
He was stir.
look at the color. I got the right color. I really want. That is concrete gray right there. This ain't no dyes. This ain't no
Half
nothing.
hour and it's set. When you make it thick when you use it.
It did say pancake batter.
Yeah, but that's
Yeah,
the
it's still super. Let's pour a little bit more in there.
That's why I said it.
Whoa!
Yeah,
Here, there, everywhere.
through Sunday.
I swear it's the
That's
first
fine,
time it's
that's
ever
fine.
happened.
The flight, I'm not sure when the flight's there because the one's going.
I just don't want it clumpy. That's what I don't.
All right, if it's 8 minutes, you're
It says to allow 2 hours between
It's
application
real thin now.
to drying time.
Ooh, that looks nice.
Well, that's straight concrete.
Right, right.
How about a little
That
flour?
ain't, that doesn't include what we're doing.
So you like the fast setup now, you just want it thicker, so you just need more hydrocal, I guess.
Well, let's do this. Let's give her a try. How about that?
Okay, well,
When
we're
all else fails, pour the hell out of it.
So here's what we're going to do. We're going to pour it. That's all right.
Oh, it's got a good thickness to it. Oh yeah, that looks good.
That's like gravy.
And I have plenty.
What kind of acid are you using? Just that etching stuff from Radio Shack. Why don't you use like mixeritic or whatever? Muriatic acid.
Muriatic acid.
Now they say,
I've got
Stuff
that.
you get in a pool place, you get a
Little
Need a
fin
little more
on
to hit
it,
the
little
top.
fin
Would you
on
tap
the
it
end
too?
there.
Corner right there.
okay, all right. Get a little more in here.
I guess that being that it's a table. you
Now,
couldn't-
because
you
I'm
couldn't-
messing with some
set
form
it.
of a real concrete,
A little more.
I decided that.
You want to be able to use the screech on the top there.
There you go. There you
Yeah.
go.
A little bit more. More.
hang on, let it, I'm letting it float. Now, Howard has the right idea. That's one of the things they saying I didn't pull out. You take your, we may be out of level a little bit too, I'm not sure.
Really?
I will tell you this. You take off any blade attachment you have on your Dremel tool, and then you take your Dremel tool with just your mandrel on the side, and you can tap this, and it works as a vibrator and help take any of the air out of your stuff. How does that look, guys? Does that look pretty?
Still a little low on this
Sticking in a
corner and that
little bit
corner up
Okay,
there.
so let's just add just a hair bit more.
Starting to thicken up.
Now I'm gonna be honest with you.
I will tell you what, let me do this. Let me call you. I'll give you a holler in the morning when I'm leaving from the school on the way there, and it'll be about the same time for both of us. I'll keep you posted. All right, see you in a little bit. See you in the morning. Bye-bye.
Okay.
Now vibrating.
You're welcome to it. All right. Bye-bye.
This
That's
you
just
could almost
spilling over.
Take this, you could
Right, yeah,
set
well,
like a cake pan.
I'm sure you could even like the difference is what you're going to have is you're going to be on your
Yeah,
train
that's why I
table.
was saying you can't lift the whole board.
So you gotta tap your forms.
Here, I think easier ways.
But well, it's just something different. I've never tried. I just thought I'd try it. But I will tell you right now, I like that color.
The color is
I've
good.
never poured any kind of Hydrocal and gotten that deep of a concrete color out of it. That is real concrete.
This is almost set.
Well, you want to wash it out now from one of these container and
Oh,
then
it'll,
rinse it.
no, once it dries, you just crack it out.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, so basically,
Yeah, that's like watching grass grow, right?
y'all make yourself relaxed.
Okay.
Done. Are we done? Now, as we do on TV, we elapse time here. So then we go break the forms off and watch them. And, so it really, Howard's right. You see how thick it is right now in that bucket. It is drying because that Hydrocal is a chemical reaction.
Kicking.
That is a set time. It is an exact science.
By the way.
Well, the concrete, he said, had about a 2 hour set time. That Hydrocal has about a 6 to 7 minute set time.
Pour concrete when
Mix
it's hot
them
out, it'll
together.
dry a lot quicker too.
My guess is they're
Get the
chemical.
heat gun out.
Yeah,
Yeah, no,
So-
the
raining
Hydrocal will
too.
be creating heat.
I will tell you this, the one thing I did not do that we might have been able to do, and this they actually do in real concrete forming and pouring and all this stuff. Bill probably knows what I'm about to say. Normally you put some kind of release agent against your inside of your forms. And never doing this before, I'll have to let y'all know later after it dries and see how it really does. You could have taken a brass brush, put a little soap on it, just scrape it on a bar of soap, and run it around the inside, and that would have given enough lubrication to probably keep it from trying to stick to the side of the
And
styrene.
also spray it with Pam.
Spray with Pam.
Hey, but Pam,
But the other side I had to be careful. Now, yes and no.
The Pam on the
I don't want the
window.
Pam in the bottom because then that creates a non-stick to the bottom surface, and I really want it to absorb to the bottom.
You got your post.
So,
What about lining it with saran wrap?
well, I
You
want it
don't
to
want-
stick
you
to the
don't want-
concrete.
You want it to stick to the
To
wood.
the wood.
Yeah, I want it to
well,
stick to the wood. So
you could do it, and it would
Yeah.
still be through the
there
post.
may be some weird folds in the corners
Yeah.
too.
But it's going to be interesting to see how, when I break it apart, I know I can't break it apart tonight. This is as far as we can go probably tonight with it. It is going to be interesting to see how it turns out. But I think it's going to look pretty cool. Keep in mind, if you're doing an industrial dock, or you're doing a big you're talking about maybe a 2 or 3 foot run of this kind of stuff. So
You could do a pier.
think about what you're doing. That's why I decided to do about 8 inches instead of trying to do a long run. We may have lost control without doing it. If we had done a long run, we may have lost control of our timing trying to pour it. So just little things you learn. But I mean, concrete works the same way.
And of
But
course
you
you
wanna-
can always dam it up and put it in your separator just like they do in real
You
concrete.
can. You could. I could
do it
have
in
poured. I
segments.
could have poured it in segments and had separators and expansion joints in there and
Could
all
you
that
do
kind of
a
stuff.
straw too? Could you pour it down a straw and do a pylon?
If you had a funnel, you could probably take a funnel and a Tygon tube. But you got to keep in mind, once you pour it, you got to flush it with some water pretty quick to keep the tube clear.
Well, if you did like a straw, you could just cut it and peel it off.
You could, but the straw, you still got to get something from the funnel down to a straw
Right.
because you got to be able to pour it. So a piece of rubber tubing would probably be easier, give you a little tighter junction. But that just gives you some idea. I mean,
What you're saying is like you make pieces,
Yeah.
you make pieces,
Yeah.
then you can have like a
Yeah.
piers.
you keep in mind, I've never done this before. This is my first time experimenting with this. This was a trial by error. Let's see what kind of
Trial
happens.
by fire. Yeah.
But this is what we're all about here, guys. I mean, you're going to have lots of industrial stuff. This may be something we want to use on Conrad's layout. I know it's something with me with my models and modules that might work. I'm looking for something fairly heavy duty on my modules because they move around. So if this is pretty heavy duty and won't crack as easy,
With the glove,
that would be pretty cool.
can you mold it at this?
That's what the exercise.
Concrete's
You got
cheaper than
concrete.
hydrocal.
You got
Yes, this was $7.98. Hey Steve, where you at? How much is that thing of Hydrocal?
List for $12.
Okay, this was $7. So I went 50-50, a little bit more Hydrocal. But if I'd have gone straight Hydrocal, man, we'd kill that bottle pretty quick. You know. Now, Steve, I don't know if you've ever done it, but you can buy Hydrocal in 100-pound bags. But you got to get it. You got to keep the moisture away from it, or it will become one solid block of Hydrocal. So it is a powdery substance. It's made by U.S. Gypsums, who makes Hydrocal. They're the only ones. There is no, let me tell you something. Don't let anybody fool you. Hydrocal is a trade name by U.S. Gypsum. Okay, that's who makes it. There is no substitute for Hydrocal. There are some other things that they use, but Hydrocal is Hydrocal. There is they call it a lightweight Hydrocal, and I guess they're just
I don't
Hydrocal.
like the light.
I don't like light it, but I thought it was good for this kind of experiment. It's what he had. So, but I will tell you this: there's plaster of Paris. Doesn't work the same. It's the setup time I'm looking for from Hydrocal. That's the magic of Hydrocal. But I will tell you this: it's dependable. But if you use standard Hydrocal, it becomes as hard as a rock. And that's why most people like it. Now we use it for casting and putting in scenery and all that. But, you know, this is a different application to try and see what it is. So yeah, that's what I wanted to show y'all tonight. I mean, it's kind of a, like I said, kind of hit and miss type of clinic thing, but I thought we'd give it a try and see what she does. But I am glad we came outside and did this. I had a feeling that dust was going to make a mess. So we had enough light out here to do this. It worked out just right. So I guess other than the forming part of it, I would have to be a little more precise in my forming of my styrene. But overall, I'd say the process seems to be a successful process. Other than the push pins are a pain in the butt.
Well, it didn't leak.
No, it did not leak. So the stuff worked. So, but I would definitely say I would not. The push pins did not help me any.
It slowed you down temporarily.
Loading dock, and you have rail cars coming up. You really want the smooth look because that is exactly what concrete would look as you pull up on the side. So they would have formed it up the same way. They would have had a smooth form on that, and then just pulled it apart. So you could have actually done this and done it with a ramp as well. So if you wanted to have a nice smooth ramp up, you could have built it with a form creating that ramp and poured it right with a ramp in place.
Probably have to tilt your base.
We're putting railroad ties as one
As
side.
fast as that was setting up, I don't
fast,
think so.
you know, just-
You could actually let it sit a little bit longer and wait till it gets to almost a toothpaste type stuff, and then take it with a trowel and put it in there and
Turned
then
into
smooth
like
it in.
putty. It was like dough.
Yeah, it worked really fast. Actually, these may be reusable to some degree, but so yeah, I'm happy with it. I thought that turned out pretty cool.
And if you,
Very cool.
Make it look difficult.
Bad light.
Let's
Light just went out.
redo this now. He wants you
Slow motion.
to reenact it.
Well, now that's anchored.
We got the two screws
Oh,
in
that's
it.
right.
It ain't
you got
going.
the
That's why I
screws
said
in
it's
there.
anchored into that board.
so
I'm happy with it. I thought it turned out cool.
okay.
Night, let it really dry. You can
See
see,
along the edges, it's already turned a little bit lighter.
yeah, just a little lighter, but I think it's cool. I
Even
think it turned out
so, it didn't look good.
Yeah, you'll probably get a little
Pretty cool.
variation in the tone too if it dries.
pretty cool. I'm happy. This is very possible we're going to build. Now here's the thing: it's concrete, so because this is flexible, you're right. You could build fountains with curvature that would look very unique, and you could pour that curvature to it, and it would look really cool.
Dig out the foam and make a pool.